Pastor Reinhard Keding of the German Lutheran Church makes his way to a chapel in the quiet village of Ginsheim. He reflects on an apparently small, hugely significant event which took place here in 2004. Not only was this event to prove an inspiration to us all, it would also serve to reaffirm our faith with an act of compassion which elevated the human spirit, even as it tore down barricades separating man from man. What is it that links this tranquil chapel on the banks of the Rhine in southern Germany with the barren landscapes of southern Africa? Namibia, once a German colony, is to the Herero. A proud people, they have worked the inhospitable lands for many generations. Cattle forms an important feature of their simple rural lives.
They share quite a lot of attributes with many African people. Especially a key element within their culture is that element of communalism, where a person becomes what he is by virtue of what he or she is to other people.
The Herero approach to life, with its African sense of value steeped in all indigenous values, is a celebration of interconnectedness of life. This was a complete mystery to Europeans, and so it was inevitable that the colonization process would be characterized by cultural clashes. German authorities of the 19th century were already looking for land for their people. Colonization of distant countries brought with it both prestige and the potential for economic growth. The Germans, much like the Herero, were also a proud people. They brought with them an inherent belief in their own superiority and the sure knowledge that those native to Africa were of lesser stature, lesser importance, lesser value.
And that, of course, is where the first real problems started, because land, when German people came here, was not owned privately. It was community property, communal property. And when the Germans came here, they took the land and they used it as private property, excluding everybody else.
It seems man is inherently greedy. We reject any thought of sharing with others. This rejection is even more vehement when we perceive differences between us and them. We will not accept. We fail to recognize their inner beauty, and in this failure we allow our own inner beauty to wither.
The general attitude of European people, and in that case German people, was that African people were not human beings on an equal basis. They did not see African people as people whom they could meet eye to eye. They were regarded as people on a lower level of development.
Our tendency to sin, especially for human beings, that we tend to take ourselves too serious, or the way that we think we are the most important person, and everybody thinks this, and so the clash comes.
The clash is inevitable because we are not obeying God's most basic commandment, to love others as ourselves. It is our arrogance that allows us to see beauty only in ourselves, failing to acknowledge that that same beauty exists within all of God's creations.
Everybody is not perfect in the light of God, and so everybody has a possibility to do wrongs. And the amazing thing is that within the wrong things, sometimes you do good.
In the city of Hamburg, a seed of love and compassion was planted as Letitia von Trotter, a perfectly ordinary young German woman, became aware of the role played by her great-uncle, General Lotte von Trotter, in the colonization of what was then Southwest Africa in the early 1900s.
A friend of mine who's very interested in history, he asked me if I know about Lotte von Trotter, and I didn't know, and so he gave me books, and then we started to discuss, and I got interested.
Letitia discovered that Lotte von Trotter had become governor of the territory during the early years of colonization. First and foremost, von Trotter was a military man. He had spent some time in East Africa, where he had dealt with many of the local people. He refused to concede that there was any common ground, moral or political, between Herero and German. His personal belief was that the Negro is bound only by brute force.
I was shocked because he was the Kaiser to come to Namibia to solve the resistance, to stop the